In the quiet corners of history, behind the clamor of battle and the march of armies, there lie voices never heard, stories never told. This is the story of one such voice, Private Thomas Harper, a young soldier whose wartime letters never reached the hands they were meant for. Today, we bring to light the untold story of these letters, a poignant testimony from the trenches of World War I. Imagine, for a moment, the muddy trenches where Thomas Harper spent countless days and nights. Far from home, surrounded by the relentless thunder of artillery and the bitter chill of war, he took refuge in words. He wrote letter after letter to his family, pouring out his fears, his hopes, and the raw, unvarnished reality of life at the front. Yet these letters never made it beyond the battlefield. They were lost to the chaos of war, left unread for nearly a century, until now. Through these unsent letters, we hear Thomas's voice echo across time, revealing a deeply personal view of the war that statistics and history books can never capture. These letters describe the relentless conditions of trench warfare, the mud that swallowed men whole, the constant threat overhead, the numbness from loss of comrades, and the fragile sparks of hope that flickered amid the devastation. Thomas speaks candidly about his longing for home, the weight of loneliness, and the fear that gripped him each time the whistle blew. As time wore on, the tone of his letters shifted. Early entries brimmed with hope and wit. But as months passed, a gritty realism settled in. His words carried the heavy burden of survival, haunted by the sights and sounds of death around him. Yet he clung to memories of his family, the thought of returning home, and the belief that peace would prevail. One might wonder, why were these letters not sent? In Thomas's case, the brutal conditions of war meant mail was often delayed, lost, or destroyed. Some letters were confiscated, others buried in the trenches, and many never reached their intended recipients. His was the fate of many soldiers whose voices were silenced not by death but by circumstance. But could these letters just be expressions of homesickness or wartime exaggeration, dismissed as typical soldiers' tales? The depth and detail of Thomas's writings dispel that notion. His words align with historical accounts from trench warfare, providing an authentic, unfiltered window into the psychological and emotional toll endured by so many. Among the recovered letters are descriptions of specific battles, named comrades lost, and moments of quiet humanity amid horror. A shared cigarette in the mud, a whispered joke before dawn. They remind us that behind every soldier's uniform was a person with dreams, fears, and enduring hope. Historians have long pieced together the broad strokes of World War I, yet it is through personal narratives like Thomas Harper's that history gains its true texture. His letters underscore the censorship and control of information during wartime, the struggles of communication, and the deliberate erasure of personal stories in the tides of military strategy and propaganda. Moreover, Thomas's letters speak to a larger, often neglected truth, the invisible wounds of war. While the carnage ended with the armistice, the echoes of trauma, loss, and silent suffering lived on. These letters are not just relics, they are a testament to those who sacrificed not only their lives but their voices. Today, as we examine these letters, we invite you to listen, to honor the resilience, pain, and humanity of Private Thomas Harper. His story challenges us to remember that history is not merely dates and victories, but the sum of countless personal stories, each as vital as the last. In this reflection, may we find a deeper understanding of the emotional cost of war, a renewed respect for those who served, and a commitment to ensure that such voices are never forgotten again. The letters linger, whispering from the trenches, urging us to remember the human face behind every soldier's march. This is not just a story from the past. It is a call to recognize the enduring legacy of sacrifice and the profound power of words that travel through time. Private Thomas Harper's letters stand as a solemn reminder, a plea to honor, reflect, and never overlook the individual lives lost within the annals of history. To all who watch, let these letters serve as a silent pact between generations, to listen, to remember, and to carry forward the stories that history almost forgot.